kicks in.
Hello everybody and welcome to the second round of the Virtual Circuit Racing mx5 Championship here from the Snetterton 300 layout, which hosts round 2 of our championship. 10 race season, of course, with a 1 week break in the halfway mark. Not wasted any time in getting underway here in January after the opening round last week at Circuit de Lebanon. It's Trafford King who leads the way with a race victory last week, leads the way in front of Luke Woodhouse and Chris McIntosh, who were the drivers who finished on the podium in last week's event. Well, this week, as I say, we're off to Snetterton, the 300 layout, which is going to be quite a long circuit for these cars, but it's going to be a 20-minute race either way. So not many laps, basically, and not too long to go in this qualifying session either as we join it. It's myself, Ewan O'Leary, and Jim Cunningham in commentary for you this afternoon. So we have a look at the iRacing tree there on the right-hand side. Looks a bit like the logo. Good to be alongside you for this one, Jim. MX5 racing around Snetterton. As I mentioned, it's going to be very slow, that's for sure, and there's not going to be very many laps, but that doesn't mean it's going to be bad racing, perhaps even the opposite. A circuit with long straights like this one might well just play into the hands of these cars.
Yeah, I think it's good. By the way, it's good to be here with you. My first time doing the virtual circuit racing, but you and I worked together. By the way, I never noticed that was like the little iRacing guy. That was a good catch by you there. I think these cars in this track are probably a pretty decent match. Actually, most people have a lot of experience here, especially here at Snetterton with the more beginner-friendly cars, the Formula Vs and the Formula Fords and the MX5s. So I think the cars go around here pretty good, and I also think that that majority of racers have experience in these type of cars, possibly on this track. You know what I mean? So I think it'll be good racing. These cars make good racing anyway. I mean, they tend to stay pretty closely grouped together, as we see Rexy going around there. I think it'll be all right.
Yeah, I think so. I tried to actually find when it was added into our racing. I can't really work it out. As ever, AI is wrong because it says it's 2024 season 2.
No,
that's definitely not
definitely
true.
not. No.
That's definitely not true.
They might have added a different layout then, like the
maybe.
300 layout or something. But no, it's definitely been in longer than that.
There you go. There's just one of the many reasons why you shouldn't use it in your Google searches. But anyway, that's
right. Plus, they're going to take over the world. Oh no, that's never mind. That's
I'll leave that. Let's leave that for another day. Before we get complaints. 6 minutes to go in this session though, and I do think this is going to be a good one for these cars. And it's really unlike any of the other circuits we've got on this calendar. To be honest, not very many other British circuits. We're going to Alton Park twice before the end of this season. Alton Park Ireland is in 2 weeks, and the International is round 8, just 3 weeks away from the finish. So that will be our other British circuits, but it's nothing like Snetterton 300. In terms of the sort of long straights drafting opportunities that we've got, really can't see many others. It sort of depends what layout we use at Navarra, I suppose. VIR is quite a long layout, but there's not too many straights around there, not in the same way that there is here. And then we end the season with some very small circuits, I would say, like Oschersleben, Winton, Tsukuba and Lime Rock Park are 4 of the 5 final circuits.
All of those circuits are going to fit these cars very nicely, though.
Yeah.
And plus, it would seem there, based on the list, that if they're not all free circuits, most of them are. So, it just makes it an affordable league to race in. You don't have to buy a ton of content. It's a free car that comes with the subscription, and I think most of those tracks are free as well, and all good tracks. I mean, I love Alton Park. I like to. I'll still race around there anytime something's there. I love it.
There we go. Season 4, 2017 sounds a bit.
There you go. That's a little
even.
Yeah.
That sounds a bit better. I thought it was longer ago than that, to be honest, but there you go. That is more than 8 years, so fair enough. Trafford King going very quickly in the first couple of sectors of this lap, as there's only a couple of laps remaining for him to extend his advantage out the front and build on that race win from 1 week ago. Through the final corner now for Trafford King. Is this going to be? Is it even a 2:06? those purple times are strong enough, then maybe
I think so.
you will see the first 206. Don't think we're quite going to get there. It's going to be a low 207. It's going to be better than before, and it is a 207.2.
Yep.
So there you go. More than half a second now for trafficking over the rest. That's fairly significant, although it's a long circuit, so expect the time gaps to be relatively large.
Yeah, and I mean, looking here, like I said, I don't know most of these drivers, so I'm just basing my information off iRating and things like that. I mean, he's over double the closest iRating. Well, that's not true. Actually, there's a 3,000 something in here, but he's a 5,000 iRated driver. This guy can go. You probably put him in anything, and he's going to be fast. So, that's a bit to be expected. But it seems like the rest of the field is pretty closely matched. We've got a lot of cars right there from 207 to 208. We've got half the field is less than a second apart,
Yeah, absolutely. It's good news for the race, certainly, because the draft, as always, should be pretty strong in these cars, and that will keep the field nice and close together throughout as well. Both of the other podium sitters from last week, by the way, Woodhouse and Chris McIntosh, are in that clump there, but there's a lot of other names in with them as well. Matthew Addy up in second place is probably one of the better performances. It's going to be difficult not to contrast this field with the Assetto Corsa fields that we've been seeing before. It's such a different sim to drive, and we were using GT3s on that simulator in the last season of VCR. TCRs before that, which are a little bit more similar to these cars, but still not very similar. So it's difficult to say that much of that experience is going to count, but it does seem that a lot of the drivers who were strong on AC in those GT3s are also doing the same here on iRacing in the MX5s. Interesting how that lines up, even though they're two different skill sets, really.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. This car is a great little trainer car too, because it really teaches you braking technique. Because you can lock the tires up in it, and so it's a good car to get that experience in, even for experienced drivers. When you jump out of something like a GT3 with that anti-lock braking and everything, you jump into something that doesn't have ABS, and it's tough. It takes some acclimation, and these cars will get you ready. Plus, these cars really teach you how to keep the momentum up. If you don't keep the momentum up in these cars because they don't have a ton of horsepower, then they're just you just lose so much time. So, whoa, that was a nice little tail waggle there. But yeah, I think it is a different skill set. I tell you what, I hated this car when I was trying to get out of rookie class. I mean, I hated it with a passion. But going back to it later, I actually really enjoy driving it now.
It's way better than the Formula V or whatever that slow Formula car is called that they make you
yeah,
drive.
the V. I tell you, I like the V. I was broadcasting an alien league that had a bunch of real life, like big time race car drivers in it. Indy, whoa, I thought that was gonna be a tank slapper, but he saved it. Had a bunch of IndyCar drivers and stuff like that in it, and man alive, those guys were so fast in those Vs. It was fun to watch them race those cars, but this is I think a much better training car than the V is myself.
Yeah, I do as well. But and as you say, it's actually a good car to return to as well. That's the great thing I think about the MX-5. It's actually a good car to return to. I like you have obviously progressed out the rookies now as well, but I do like the is it the C class you have to be in to do that MX-5 series that is a little bit longer races.
Yes, the advanced MX-5. Yeah, it's a C class. Yeah.
That's always a good laugh, I think. Well, depending on the circuit, some of the circuits are a little bit sort of taking you back to rookie with a little bit of a longer race, and you don't really want that. But some of the bigger circuits, especially like this one, and I remember a week at Watkins Glen where I did about 10 or 15 because they're a lot of fun to go back to, which I don't think you can quite say the same for some of the other cars that the rookies end up driving. So there you go. We're at the end of this qualifying session, and we're not too far away from the race in a moment. Chris McIntosh's time is not ticking through anymore on the bottom because the time has elapsed, but he might still have a chance to improve. Oh, he bounds over that final curb there. It doesn't have a very good run onto the front straight. Into the pit lane. Meantime, just in front of him comes one of the drivers. Is that McIntosh going to get to the line with any sort of improvement here? Doesn't need much to get ahead of Lee Southall. And he's going to go over and not improve indeed. I'm not sure even if it really counts as the time has elapsed. And for some reason, times aren't appearing. But there you go. That's probably because the session is over and everybody's completed their lap times now. So will be getting themselves ready for the race. As ever in this series, it's a 20-minute race upcoming. Nothing too long in this series. Sprint racing, really. And last week, as I mentioned, it was Traffic King who came out on top by just 1.4 seconds over Luke Woodhouse. Chris McIntosh, we just saw there, was 7.5 back in third place. But that was at the Circuit de Lebanon in France, which is a lot different.
I love that. I love that track, too.
To this. I mean, this is built on an airfield. That you certainly couldn't have an airfield on the Circuit de Lebanon, that's for sure.
No, more like a roller coaster.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love this. That track that Lebanon. That's that's another one of those underrated tracks I think on iRacing. That people don't ever think about, but it's a fun little track to drive.
I mean, had anyone ever heard of it before it was added free into iRacing?
No, I don't think so.
I certainly hadn't. It's a rather small circuit in France where there's not too many big racetracks, to be honest. You think of Le Mans, but other than that, there's not too many historically well-known ones, to the same level that other countries have, like Spain, for example, or even Belgium alongside, or the UK. It's an unusual circuit, Lebanon.
Those are
not many had heard of.
You just hit some of the best countries in the world for racetracks, though. I mean,
it's a bit unfair that France neighbours those countries that have such great circuits, and they really don't have quite so many.
I mean, Paul Ricard, I think. And I think Paul Ricard's coming to iRacing, if I'm not mistaken, pretty soon. But a lot of people hate that track. I don't really have a feeling one way or the other, but I think it's coming to iRacing shortly. The session's taking a minute to click over. I wonder what's going on there.
It is taking quite a long time. iRacing confirming in the same update, by the way, in Season 4 that Paul Ricard and the Bahrain International Circuit is also coming this year.
I like Bahrain.
I do too.
I do a good bit of racing on Le Mans Ultimate as well, and they have Bahrain. I like it. I'm glad it's coming to iRacing.
Yeah, sometime in 2026, so that's to come further down the line. Meantime, let's have a look at the starting grid then, ready for the 20 minutes here from Snetterton. And it is Traffic King who will start from the front. In front of Matthew Addy, they'll be on the front row together as they get ready for this rolling start. Joshua Haythwaite and Lee Southall will be on row 2. And then already you're over a second off of pole with Chris McIntosh and Luke Woodhouse, maybe surprisingly, down in 6th place. David Price and Ewan are on row 4, ahead of Stephen Bosworth and Ben Gibbons. Outside the top 10, Darryl Moss, Thomas Herrera, and Dan Buckingham, with Liam Joyce not setting a lap time, although I believe I can see him on the grid there on the back straight. So we should be underway with a rolling start in a moment, with all 14 of the drivers indeed on the grid. Yep, I don't see any gaps, and so maybe I do see a gap at the very back there, and we'll see whether we do indeed get the 14 underway. But
it shows
either way,
everybody's on the grid, I believe. So
okay, I'm just seeing things. They're not quite lined up quite as you'd expect them to be, I suppose. But there is 7 in each line, so there you go. And it's going to be an important start, you'd imagine. Not long, these races, so we often talk in races about biding your time, bit of patience, but there's not really any time for that in these races.
And there's something to be said for that. When I saw it was a 20-minute race, I kind of laughed because we're so used to these hour races. But the reality is, the time you do a little practice and qualify and all that stuff, that's a pretty large commitment for, say, a family guy or, somebody who comes in from work and, wants to just bang out a little something and then, go on about your business to get ready for the next day or whatever. A little 20-minute race with the practice, wrap it all up in an hour. There's something to be said for that, Yeah.
No, I absolutely agree that they both have their place, and this is a place for 20-minute sprint racing, and what better cars you can do it with as well. The MX5s at Snetterton. I think this could be one of the combinations of the season, but we'll judge that in 10 weeks or so. Here we come towards the start-finish line as Traffic King tries to go back-to-back here from Snetterton. The green flag will wave in a moment. He'll be in control of the field and will be underway. Already nearly 3 wide in the back. They're going to get it back to double file at least, and they're actually all going to tuck in behind Traffic King through turn 1. Oh, a little bit of contact there in the midfield, but nobody off the circuit at least through turn number 1, through Riches, which is good news, but this is where the trouble can happen. On the brakes, in towards turn 2. As you dive into the apex, you're looking for positions, and it's a very clean start across the board.
Yeah, good start. Looked like they were going to take it 3 wide there for a minute, but they probably thought better of that, which was probably a wise idea.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, my normal line would be there's plenty of time for that later, but I guess not really.
There isn't. No, there isn't really. What they are going to be worried about, though, no matter how long the race is, whether it's just 5 minutes or 55, is staying with the leader, staying in the draft is very important in MX5 racing. It's not quite like super speedway racing that you see this time of year at Daytona on the ovals or whatever. But it's not dissimilar to it either. You've got to stay with Traffic King, who's setting the pace through this middle sector and about to get onto the back straight, where you're going to reap the benefits now of staying in that slipstream.
He had a big tail wiggle there a second ago. I actually thought he might get past, but he managed to stay out in front there. He's obviously very quick, but he had a big old wiggle there. Got out on the curb, and maybe even put a tire in the grass.
And this is where where it's most likely to go wrong into Brundle Nelson, in my opinion, as you're braking and turning at the same time into the very sharp right-hander. And that does put people off a little bit from going side by side through there, which is perhaps a little bit understandable. But through the first lap, it's a very good start for Traffic King. Look at them all pretty close in behind, though. Few gaps in the field, a little bit further down, but they're not too large for this very early stage in the race.
No, and the thing is, there's different battles out there. There's guys that are trying to stay with the leader, but then, there's guys, somebody's off the track way back there in the back. He's back on though. But then there's other battles, you're going to have these guys battling in the mid pack, and they're going to be racing super hard for their spot. You know what I mean? It's different little races going on inside the race, So this is it seems to me like kind of the fun type of league that you really want to be a part of,
Yeah, absolutely. It's short, as I say, short evenings, short races, but as I say, once you've done practicing qualifying, it's a proper night of racing, that's for sure, in these MX5s, and a great car to come back to, as we've been saying. That's through the end of the opening lap. I think we're going to get 10 laps in this race, by the way.
Oh, I might want to put the
We'll see. There's the timer. Yeah, I think it will be 10 laps because these lap times are just over 2 minutes, so we'll cross the line with seconds to go, but the times would have to be really quite slow for us to miss out on a lap here, and hopefully we do get all 10 in. Traffic King has brought Josh Haythwaite and Matthew Addy with him, neither of who finished inside the top 3 last week, but they did finish inside the top 6. Both of them. Haythwaite was 4th and Addy was 6th position, and they look like they're making a bit of a break for it at the front of the field.
They are, but the front 3 are staying together pretty close there, actually. Considering the difference in qualifying times it dropped off, they're staying right there together. In fact, Addy's looking like he's about to make a move there on Joshua.
He's just getting in those mirrors, but as I said before, it's quite hard to do so in that final chicane at the end of the back straight. Good evening to everyone watching along. I believe that's Amy and Shams both tuning in. I think both supporting Josh Haythwaite, to be honest. It seems, and currently running in second position. Didn't know it was a rolling start today. I can't tell you whether that's intentional or not. We'll have to chat to the admins afterwards, because sometimes iRacing sessions can be set up with a one misclick, you can get it all wrong. So
yes.
Hopefully that's not the case. But yes, we did have a rolling start today. Worth noting that it was a standing start last week, so we'll see which one it's meant to be. And that will continue for the rest of the season. Josh Haythwaite defends meantime in towards turn 2, and Matthew Addy just looks to the outside. I wonder what he'll be thinking about that. Will he be thinking, well, get back in line, I want to help you try and stay with Traffic King so we've both got a shot at the win here? Or will he be pleased that he's getting into the mirrors of Haythwaite in front? It really depends what he's targeting in this race, whether he wants to go all out to win or whether he just wants to try and beat Haythwaite to second here.
Yeah, I think yeah, you got it right. I mean, it's just if he feels like he can't keep up with King, then he's probably he just made a nice no, and he lost it.
Oh no!
Oh man,
From second, Matthew Addy goes around, and where is he going to land here? It could be out the top 10, and it will not. Yes, it will be. Gibbons is going to get to the outside and through there.
That's brutal there, man. That's in these cars at this short of a race. That's a death sentence, you know.
Yeah, and look at that, down to 12 indeed.
Oh my gosh.
So overtaking to be done, but again, there's already less than 15 minutes left in this race, and so that there's just not, as we said before, just isn't the time to make up those positions that he's just lost there, and that is very, very disappointing because clearly he's got the speed to be running, maybe even second place. He was up front, obviously. Applying pressure to Haythwaite.
One more time there. He turned it down tight on the inside, and I think he just cranked it down a little too hard there, and it just came around on him.
I mean, if we saw it from the onboard at the time, Haythwaite was slightly wide into that braking zone of turn 4, just slightly, and that gave Addy the chance to turn down the inside and have a look. Here it is from this angle. You'll be able to see it. Just watch him miss the apex there in the red and black. There goes Addy, and he sees the gap open, but just gets too excited, really. And you'd think that these cars don't have enough power to spin round like that, but they certainly do.
Oh no, they absolutely do. Yeah, and especially when you got the wheel cranked down a little extra there to try to turn under him like he was trying to do there, and it came around on him. That's so easy, really so easy to do. I mean, it really is.
Yeah, it doesn't look easy, but it is. Or it doesn't feel like it would be when you see it at what speed you're going down the straights, but you absolutely can manage that throughout what is, I think, the slowest corner on this circuit, down at Agostini there. Maybe Oggies is a bit slower, but either way, they're all very similar. As Luke Woodhouse here we go back to is putting the pressure on to Lee Southwell. He's already made it one place, Woodhouse, and that was that one place there as Matthew Addy went for the spin. Can he work on another hit on Lee Southwell and maybe even try and get back to that podium place? He finished second last week. He's going to do well to get back to second this week, I feel, but he's working on moving up the field anyway.
Yeah, I mean, he's not horribly far behind second place, really, but a short race and not a lot of power in these. Plus, it's just hard to pass. It's hard to get by the guy in front of you unless they make a little bit of a mistake, really.
Yeah. It has been a little bit hard to overtake so far. Is this a chance, though, for Woodhouse under the bridge? He's looking, and even that is just too far away because look at this braking zone here. It's not straight at all. You're still on the brakes going round the left-hander into the right, and Woodhouse was nowhere near close enough. I mean, that was a 10.5 behind, and that still wasn't close enough, so that just gives you an idea of how close you need to be.
I mean, the draft is strong, strong enough to keep you up, though he just slid out right there a little bit. He's going to lose a tenth or two there for sure. Yeah, I mean, the draft is strong enough to kind of keep you up with somebody maybe who's a little slightly quicker than you, but it's really not strong enough to give you that launch to get around them,
Yeah, absolutely. It's annoying in that respect, I suppose, to be just dragged along, but not quite given the opportunity. It's not just sailing past draft-wise. As go back to Matthew Addy, who's already back in the top 10 here, past Gibbons and Herrera, and he's trying to work at the moment on Bosworth for that 9th position. Maybe a look down the inside into turn 2, which might be a better chance for Woodhouse, to be honest. There goes Addy down the inside. The speed difference between these two is a little bit bigger, though, than what we see further out front.
I think Bosworth, he purposely turned out wide there. He knew that Addy was faster than him, and he knew he was just going to mess himself up and Addy if he just tried to battle there. That was probably some good, clean racing right there, really. Yeah,
it was nicely done. Addy is recovering nicely, in fact, gaining 3 places since his spin less than 5 minutes ago. It was. Traffic King's got a slowdown. Now, that's the first time we've seen that for the race leader here tonight, and I wonder where he would have picked that up from. Maybe cutting the inside of Oggies, I'm not sure, but he's still serving it. Still now. And Haythwaite's going to take the lead as a result here, surely. King's only just cleared it. He's not really done that so well because he's not got very much momentum. Coming onto the straight here, you want to really slow down at the end of this straight, to be honest, or indeed do it before the straight, but he couldn't do either. And Josh Haythwaite goes and takes the lead.
Wow, yeah, that was probably about the worst place you could pick up a slowdown right there. That was, I mean, it was, he had no chance but to serve it on that straightaway, which was, unfortunately in these cars, horrible. You can get away with that in a faster car, but that's brutal here. But he's so fast. He's, let's see. It's going to be fun to watch him overtake and try to get back into the lead here. He's going to be aggressive about it.
Yeah, he certainly is, and he's got a decent exit out the final corner as well here to maybe have a go immediately in towards turn number 1. There's not really a braking zone into Riches though, and so you might want to wait for 2 where there is a proper braking zone, and he will do. He has a look down the inside, but he's only just making sure Haythwaite knows he's there. Now that's a better line. If he can stay flat out, he'll be good into turn 2. And here he goes. Haythwaite can't even get across to defend from him. And Traffic King gets to the inside immediately and gets through on the inside line. Well, that was easy as you like. Haythwaite's going to respond with a good exit off of turn 2. And he's got to the outside of Traffic King now as well. Can he get round there? It's going to be very hard. And he's going to have to cut back. Can he now stay flat out and have a run down towards Agostini? Maybe it's not quite the exit he was looking for. Into the slipstream he goes. It's going to have to be a big dive. Oh. Dear, oh dear. That's extravagant, but it's not actually going to serve any real purpose. He's not going to get through into the lead there. And Traffic King has got that lead back almost as soon as he lost it.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to rattle King too much with, let me pop out here like I'm going to make him dive on you or anything. But that's I mean, it's a good attempt, that will work on some drivers, but based on how fast King is and his I rating and stuff, I don't know that you're gonna trip up a 5,000 I rated guy by showing him a fake dive bomb,
Yeah, it's a sort of long shot really from for Haythwaite, but
it actually cost him some momentum.
Yeah. Definitely cost him some time, and 0.8 of a second is now the gap. That's pretty much the gap all the way down, actually.
It is.
Until you get to Southall versus Woodhouse for 4th place, which is now the closest battle in this group.
By the way, Addy is all the way back up to 8th now. He was at 10th last time we looked at him. Now he's up to 8th, and he's got 7th place in his sights. We'll have to come back and check in on that in a few more minute or two and see what's going on there.
Yep, he was 12th at worst.
Yeah,
was Addy. I think 7th might be his limit though. If you look at the gap in front of Juan Tissera there, in 7th position. Haythwaite really in the slipstream here nicely, but doesn't have the line that King did there. Traffic King had the perfect line through turn 1 to make that move into turn 2. Haythwaite doesn't have that as Addy gets down the inside, and he now completes his run to 7th place, which, as I say, is maybe his limit if there's no problems up ahead.
Yeah, I think, short of a mistake to make up 8 more seconds here on the driver in front, well, that's a tall order. I mean, with, like you said, maybe 10 laps, I think it's probably still looking like we're going to get 10 in. So 3 laps to go, that's definitely not going to happen.
Yeah,
but this might. I tell you what, ever since he took the lead there a few minutes ago and then got passed, he stayed right. Hathaway stayed right with King.
Yeah, he's still there. And as I say, he had a real run into turn 1. He just didn't get the run out of it, which was the problem. Lee Southall and Luke Woodhouse, meantime, are the
good battle here.
The battlers for 4th. It is a good battle at the moment, close between the two. And Woodhouse is going to get a good exit here. Is that the one he's finally been looking for here as they come up the back straight now in towards the end of the straight in the chicane? Is Woodhouse close enough this time? 1/10.5 was too far away. He's just 3/4 of a tenth behind now, but it's still not enough. He still can't get to be fair, he probably would have been able to go through if he was on the inside, but he was shown the outside by Southall, who's never going to give that inside up, and Woodhouse again is knocked back.
Yeah, you can't give the inside away in these cars. You know, you got to make them drive the long way around. If you can, you know, these cars are all about momentum and clipping the apexes perfectly to keep the speed up and things like that, you know. Which is why it's going to be really hard to pass Trafford King without some sort of slowdown or slip or twitch or something.
That's what they're going to be hoping for with these final 5 minutes. Oh, again, that tight line from Haythwaite. He's got to get away from that inside curb.
Yep.
It's not doing him any favours. And he's not close enough in towards turn 2. When King was behind, you noticed it was just fading a little bit wider. He certainly didn't clobber that second part curb there that Haythwaite has now done for 2 laps in a row. He's got to go wider through the middle of the corner here, Haythwaite. Otherwise, he's not going to get anywhere.
See, he's using the full track there, though. That should give him a decent run there. I mean, but again, you got to get that run at the right spot on the track to have that run going into a big passing zone.
Yeah. Not quite getting it in the right places. It's not a very long run to Agostini anyway.
Another little twitch by King there, though, and it's brought Haythwaite right back up to him again.
And tighter line from Haythwaite out of the corner, so it's 3/10.5 coming into the final corner before the back straight. Now, is this a good run or not? It's okay, but it's too far away, I think, for Haythwaite. Woodhouse is even closer again.
Yeah,
surely this time he's going to be able to get past Lee Southall.
This could be the battle here, this Woodhouse battle right here. This might be a pass here.
Woodhouse has been shown the outside again, but that does give him a slipstream, so he's almost dead alongside. But again, he can't do it again. This is becoming frustrating for Woodhouse, surely, because he's getting dead alongside that time. But he still couldn't get through on the outside line. Still couldn't do it.
I'm gonna give him credit since I don't know him personally. You know, he showed the outside there pretty early, and you know, Southall didn't really shut that down till the last minute. If he goes to the outside again and then does a quick crossover, he might get that inside on him. You know, before he can shut it down, because he was hesitant there. So it'll be interesting to see if he can make something happen. Oh my goodness, what happened up front? If
he's played the long game, then fair play. As
yes.
Woodhouse weaves around, doesn't get anywhere there. Haythwaite's even further behind now, so it didn't actually matter what his run through Riches was that time round. He's just too far away. He needs to work on this lap at getting closer, and then on the final lap, which is the next lap, needs to try and work his way past, because time is very much running out in this race now.
I tell you what, Woodhouse got a good run here too, though. Let's see what happens. Let's see if he's closer for the whole lap this time around than he was last time. It's very interesting. Did you see how he was twitching the wheel like that? That was kind of strange.
I'm not sure if that's particularly helpful for these cars.
No, I don't think it is at all.
No.
There
are definitely some cars where being smooth is the absolute number one importance. I don't think it's quite that severe here, but I can't think of many cars where stabbing at the wheel like that so much is quite advantageous.
In high-powered cars, you know, and you're really carrying a ton of speed, you can kind of do that to, like, I think like one of the famous YouTube instructor guys, Swaleo, he talks about you're searching for grip. You twitch the wheel to see how much grip you've got. Oh, that curb didn't help at all either there.
What's the size of these cars?
Yeah, I know, it is. Yeah, it's like jumping a ramp. Speaking of jumping a ramp, we got Daytona coming up over the next few weeks. Different events obviously at Daytona, man. That new bus stop chicane there. If you hit those curbs wrong, it'll launch you right in the air. It'll put all 4 wheels in the air.
First time we've had that newly configured iRacing chicane. Real life chicane in iRacing. Coming up. I'm sure many of the guys here will be doing it next weekend.
Oh yeah.
The Daytona 24. It's going to be another big event in iRacing, as they all are at the Daytona 24. That is for sure. What?
Oh, go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, white flag's in the air and just one lap to go, and Haythwaite not really close enough at the moment to challenge Traffic King again.
I don't honestly think that any of these guys are close enough really to make a move. I mean, short of Woodhouse really getting a good run and sending it here, I don't, we've seen these gaps are just too big to overcome. I was going to say that, for a lot of these guys, they probably step up and drive the GR86s as well. And if I'm not mistaken, are the touring cars like you talked about earlier. This weekend is the Roar before the 24, and I believe they race touring cars in that. It's like a 2.5 hour race or something. Sure, some of these guys will probably be doing that as well.
Yeah, I think that's one you can do by yourself.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's only 2.4 hours, so you can manage that by yourself. Although it's a relatively long run in the afternoon. Gap coming down for the race lead right at the end here. This is the last time they're coming up the back straight now towards the end. And Traffic King hasn't got a very good run here. Is Haythwaite going to throw everything at this for the win, maybe? Into the final chicane. He's looking. Oh, King makes sure to block him. A slide from Haythwaite on the way in there. He's clipped the curb as well. A good run out of the chicane from King. And he might just have done enough now to win this race. As he comes into Coram in a moment, he's going to have to make sure that Haythwaite doesn't bomb down the inside of him in a last lap dive for the race victory here. They get very close to the grass of the right as I look at them both here, pushing super hard. Haythwaite thought about diving down the inside there later on, I think, but he can't do it, and Traffic King is going to hold on. It's a much closer race than last week, although last week's was pretty close too, but once again the result is the same. Traffic King wins at Snetterton in round 2 with the Virtual Circuit Racing MX5 Championship. It's a photo finish as well, nearly for third, as Chris McIntosh finishes third for the second week in a row, just in front of Lee Southall. And Luke Woodhouse gets 2 top 5s in the first 2 weeks as well with 5th. But it's Traffic King who holds on by 5 to a second, and he made life a bit difficult for himself there. He had a mistake coming onto the back straight, which very nearly let Josh Haythwaite back into the race.
Yeah, well, he had a couple of twitches along in that race that did definitely keep Haythwaite closer to him, I think, than he would have been. It made for some good racing. We honestly we had a good battle for the lead for most of the race, and we had a really nice third, fourth, and fifth battle going on there. Some good quality racing up and down the field, really. And Addy did make it back to 7th place. So that was a nice recovery considering how far back he dropped. Help his points out a little bit. At least he made up some spots to gain a few points back.
Yeah, 6th and 7th place finishes now for him, unfortunately, which is maybe a little bit less than he deserves on these first 2 weeks, but
somebody decided to go tear their car up. They didn't like the way it ran.
Not sure who that was.
It was
actually.
McIntosh.
All right, there you go. Dropping that to the pit lane
actually,
now, Chris McIntosh.
I get a kick out of it when those guys all wreck their cars and stuff after the race. It cracks me up.
They do always.
I did not know there's a place at Sonoma that you can launch the car and it will literally jump to another section of the track. It's insane. It just happened to catch it on a broadcast by accident, and it was fantastic. I watched the replay, like, you know how I am about wrecks anyway. I watched the replay like 7 times. It was fantastic. Let's get some results up here.
I didn't know that either.
iRacing man seems to be celebrating. He's happy.
Yeah, he's always pleased, to be fair. Trevor King is the race winner tonight, ahead of Josh Haythwaite by just 0.5 of a second in the end, with Chris McIntosh in 3rd place, holding off Lee Southall and Luke Woodhouse to the line. Dave Price was rather on his own there and finishes 6th, ahead of Matthew Addy, who recovered well. Juan Tissera finishes 8th, ahead of Darren Moss and Ben Gibbons to round out the top 10. Stephen Bosworth couldn't quite get into the top 10. Gibbons holding on from him. Thomas Herrera is the last driver within 1 minute of the winner. Liam Joyce was just over a minute off the winner. Dan Buckingham looks like he finished a mile off, but he did actually have a penalty at the end there that was unserved, and therefore he's about 40 seconds further behind where he otherwise would have been. Not that that matters anyway. He finishes in 14th place to end the race tonight. I actually can't drag people. James is the only one who's actually got permissions to drag people. I'm not sure if you have any permissions to do the same.
Well, let's find out.
Let's find out indeed.
I do. It looks
if
like.
not, we do
go.
have permission. That's
There
good.
we go.
Traffic King, the winner from tonight, joins us. Welcome in, Trav. Good to have you with us. Congrats on a win, a much closer one, admittedly, than last week, but a win nonetheless. They all count the same. How were you on that final lap there? As you seemed to give Heavyweight sort of half a chance there down the back straight on the last lap.
Part of me wanted to get the slide onto back straight, so I just knew that I needed like a second to hit it. It didn't go as well as I thought it could have done. I could have initiated a bit harder, but yeah. And then Josh had some serious pace there on that last lap, which brought it down to the wire, didn't it? Really.
Yeah, it absolutely did, and race complicated by the fact that you got a slowdown at one stage as well, which let Josh in front of you briefly. Just talk us through the slowdown first of all, where it was picked up and how easy that was to do, and how you managed to get past Josh again as well.
Yeah, so the optimal line through there is like very much borderline. You don't get an off track, but you get a slowdown, and I just turned in a little bit too early, run a little bit too much of the car over the right-hander before the right onto the back straight, and then when Josh went past, I was sort of hoping Chris and Lee were a little bit closer. We could have had a bit of battling going on, but yeah, it was good laugh.
Yeah, congratulations on ending up with 2 race wins out of the first 2 weeks, and thanks for coming to chat to us at the end of the day as well. Hopefully we'll see you again next week.
No worries, cheers lads.
Thanks so much. That's Traffic King, the winner tonight from Snetterton. 2 wins in a row, indeed, for Trav. Just in front in the end of Josh Haithwaite, who will join us in a sec, hopefully, as well. I'm sorry, Jim, you're going to have to do the dragging.
Yep.
Josh, welcome in. Good to have you with us. Congrats on a second-place finish tonight, but how close do you feel to being able to overhaul Trafford there and actually win that race?
I think I had a good few opportunities to get around him and hold the lead, but he's so fast, and he's been doing some other races on Snet, so he's really got his pace dialed in. I'm honestly surprised I managed to keep up with him for a little bit, but I think we had a good little fight. Yeah, he's just really quick, and it's difficult to kind of fend him off.
How would you say that's changed since we've moved on to iRacing, though? Because it's not your two's first battle, as we know. We've seen you many times on AC, but how is it different battling him on iRacing instead?
Well, it's a fair few things, to be fair. I mean, Traff has been on iRacing for a long time, much longer than I have. So he knows kind of how the game works. Sorry, the simulator. How the sim works and the physics of it. Especially with the mx5s, he's just kind of a wizard with it, to be honest. There's a fairly substantial gap, but I mean, I've been doing a lot of iRacing recently, just not in mx5s, which might not be helping. But yeah, I don't mind it too much. I'm getting used to it.
Yeah, well, it's good to have you back on the on iRacing as well as AC as well. Do you think you can sort of compete with Traff and all the others over the course of a championship this season as well, or do you think that's going to be this runaway is going to continue for Trafford? What do you think?
To be honest, I think the runaway will continue. As I've always said, as I will continue to say, he is an unbelievably fast driver. He's very competent behind the pedals, and it is just honestly a joy to follow him around. And even if I am losing to him, it's always good fun no matter what. But I'll give it everything I've got. I'll try what I can.
We'll look forward to seeing that in the coming weeks. Thanks for coming to chat to us at the end.
I suggest putting the bumper to him.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we have a good racing relationship, me and Traff. I don't want to throw that out the window by putting him in the wall.
Nah, you don't have to put him in the wall. Just rattle his cage a little bit.
Just a little bit of tactical contact.
That's right.
The American voice there, just
yeah,
coming through.
Speaking up.
Just move him out of the way. It was a good battle between the two of you, and yeah, thanks for being a part of it. Thanks for chatting to us at the end, and hopefully we'll see you in the weeks to come as well.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, guys. Thank you for coming back and always putting on a great show.
Yes, thanks very much, Josh Haithwaite, second place tonight from Snetterton.
I mean, to be fair, you have to catch him to put the bumper on him. That's so true. There's that.
There is that. Yeah, that can be hard as well.
Macintosh is next. Right, here we go.
Yeah, Chris McIntosh, who finishes in third place, I believe, tonight. Chris, welcome in. Good to have you with us as well at the end of tonight. Third place for yourself, which was looking comfortable for a while, but got quite close towards the end as well, as Lee Southwell and Luke Woodhouse got close to you. How confident were you, though, that you were able to hold on to that third place, which you held for so long?
Yeah, to be honest, I never actually noticed how close Lee was until pretty much halfway around the last lap. And then I looked and I seen he was like 0.5 off the back of me, and he had a pretty good toe going down the straight. So I did get a wee bit worried at the end. I tried to keep up with Josh as best as I could, but I was saying to him just before we came in here, the relative basically just stayed 0.8, 0.9, 1 second. Like, it just bounced around that 1 second mark. I just couldn't quite outperform any of them to make any difference. So I'm pretty happy with third, to be honest.
Do you think? Sorry. Do you think you had something for Addy if he hadn't have spun there? You think you would have had good battle with him, or?
To be honest, Matt was pretty fast throughout practice and everything as well. I generally think it would have just put another car in between Josh and Traff. So there might have been a bit more battling, which might have involved me, and you never know what could have happened. But it's unfortunate for Matt, but he was seriously quick.
And is this sort of the target place for the season now, Chris, a podium place, or you think you can aim higher in some of the races this season?
I would love to aim higher. I just need to get the right settings, to be honest. Just once it all comes together, I'm sure something might come of it. But at the moment, I'm happy with podium, both first race and second. I mean, it's staying consistent. We can see if we can hold on to it and maybe push a wee bit further. But with Traff on the track with you, it's a mission.
It's very difficult. Well, congrats on getting a third place here tonight from Snetterton, as I say, and thanks for coming to chat to us at the end as well.
Yeah, no bother. Appreciate it.
Thanks very much. That's
Cheers,
Chris
mate.
McIntosh, who finishes third place tonight at Snetterton in the.
Whoops! Apparently, I drug you down into the interview room. I got you back, though.
All right. I'm back. That's Chris McIntosh, third place in the VCR MX5 Championship here tonight. Good racing across the board, actually. All 14 drivers getting to the end in a reasonable time without too many problems. I don't think we really saw any replays for incidents. Only Matthew Addy's spin I can really think of. It was a clean race across the board and a close finish as well. Not much more you can ask for from 20 minutes of racing there.
Oh, I mean, good racing. I mean, these little cars are fun, and like I said, they breed close racing. So I mean, we had several, and had Addy not spun, like Chris said, that could have very easily thrown another car up there in that 1, 2, 3 mix, which could have brought the 4, 5 back up into that picture as well as they started battling. So I think you got a good potential here for the top half of the field to stay pretty tight this season.
Yeah, it looks like it will do. Certainly closer than last week's race, I've got to say, where top 3 were covered by 7.5 seconds. Top 5 this race were covered by less than 3. It was a very close race across the board. So a good second round of this championship, and there's plenty more to come over the course of the next 9 weeks. We'll have 1 week off in between rounds 5 and 6, but other than that, we'll be racing all the way through to Lamrock Park and round number 10, as I say, coming up in 9 weeks' time. So make sure you keep it right here for the next for the next Friday nights, really, on the JP Broadcasting channel. We'll be live same time, same place, with all of those broadcasts as normal. I've been Ewan Leary alongside Jim Cunningham with the second round of the Virtual Circuit Racing MX5 Championship here this season from Snetterton. We'll be back in 1 week's time from VIR for round number 3. Hope you can join us then, but from all of us for now, it's goodbye.